Once you've put together your smart RGB LED, you are definitely going to want to test it before you sew it to your stuffed animal. Uh, so to do that, first you need to work through the Control a Single Smart RGB LED assignment if you haven't done that already. And then you're going to want to take that circuit within Tinkercad and duplicate it or copy it and make a new version here. You can see I've renamed mine Smart RGB LED Tester. If you have extra circuitry attached below, you can go ahead and just delete that if necessary. And if you have additional code, you can go to your Bitbucket account and roll back to the commit that matches the Control a Single Smart RGB LED assignment and copy and paste that code into this window right here. Otherwise, what you're looking at right now is the code that we finished that assignment with. Now, what I want to do is modify this code so that it cycles between all three colors to make sure that all the pieces on the SK6812 were soldered correctly. So, right now it shows red. I want to keep it that way for a full second or 1000 milliseconds. And then I'm just going to copy these 3 lines of code and paste them right down here, but change it so that instead of showing red, it moves on to green. And then blue. If I start the simulation, I can see the LED cycling between those 3 colors. So the next step is to load this code onto our ATtiny85. To do that, I'm going to get out of full screen mode here and open up the Arduino IDE. Here I have a blank sketch. I'm going to go ahead and move it right over here so that you can see that all of the code inside here, it's just an empty setup and an empty loop. I'm going to copy all of the code from Tinkercad and paste it right in here using Control A and Control V. Now I need to click on Tools, and I'm going to switch to the ATtiny85 board if I don't already have that selected. You'll also want to set the programmer to Arduino as ISP. And then I'm going to have to plug in my programmer and my ATtiny85. When you plug your ATtiny85 into the programmer, make sure it is oriented correctly. You can plug it in like this, or you can turn it around and plug it in like this. Well, which way is the correct way? You can tell by looking at the little circle on the microchip here. That circle needs to be on the same side as this notch that we see up here at the top. So I'm going to have to spin it back around so that they're both on the same side now, and then I would plug it in just like that. Once I've done that, I can click Tools, and I should see a port shown. If you see multiple ports, you can unplug your USB cable, see which port disappears, and then plug it back in. You'll know that that's the port you should choose. Mine says COM4, yours may say COM5, COM6, COM3. It's a kind of a random luck of the draw thing, whatever your computer decides to name it. Now that I've done that, I am going to go ahead and hit the upload button.
And I don't need to save this because I have it in Tinkercad and it's not that much, it's not a very long program. So I'm going to click cancel. Now that it says done uploading, I'm going to unplug the programmer and I'm going to remove the chip from the programmer. And then I'm going to plug my chip into my stitch board, making sure that the dot lines up with the side that has the little divot in it there. And then I'm going to hook up my IC cables. So my first one goes on the plus side here. My red one goes on the positive. My black one will go on the ground, which is the negative. And then the signal wire is the green wire. And I'm going to put that right on 0 because that's what we've programmed the ATtiny85 to send the signal on. Now it's time to connect the IC cables to the smart RGB LED. Black connects to negative. Red connects to positive. And green connects to the tail end of the arrow here. So we got the head of the arrow and the tail. The information comes in here, and then if we have multiple neopixels, it'll go out there. So once all of the IC cables are connected correctly, it is time to flip the switch on the power supply and see if our smart RGB LED works. And so you can see it cycling between red, green, and blue, which means that all of our soldering connections are good.